He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the lights. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. Here you go.
Class 2A fans, welcome in, and I'm going to tell you right now, we've got movement inside the top 5 this week, and we might just have a new number 1. We might just have a new number 1. You might have to hang around and check it out. But hey, my name's Caden Nissen, joined as always by Andrew Brown. Andrew, I got to keep him around somehow. I got to keep him interested all the way through the video, but but no, we're back. High and tight special edition every Monday. You know the drill by now. We're revealing rankings. Hey, you're checking out the rankings video, check out our actual high and tight videos. This one, we're kind of just breaking down the rankings. Our actual high and tight video, we're getting more opinions. We're kind of breaking down. We're giving more of Andrew and I's thoughts on things across the state of Iowa. Really, really good stuff. We make it interactive with you guys, and it's a ton of fun. So check that out when it drops early this week. I'm guessing Monday when you're watching this, you'll be able to catch high and tight too, hopefully soon. So, hey, let's get right into it. 16 through 11 in Class 2A. You know the drill, our 2A ranker. Blessing you guys with the number 16. And for back-to-back weeks, it is Unity Christian sitting in that number 16 spot. But hey, we've got 3 new teams hopping in the rankings. IABaseball, they were in, fell out. Now they're back in, so you could say they're new. They're kind of new. I don't know. But we got Sumner Fredericksburg also joining the rankings. New Hampton joining the rankings. All 3 of those teams that I just mentioned perfect last week. And then we've got OABCAG and Pleasantville jumping up this week. Andrew, IABaseball left our rankings. Now they're back after a 4-0 week. Top 16 in both average and ERA. The Blue Raiders moving to the rankings after a doubleheader win over Monticello. I went and saw IABaseball and the Blue Raiders. Really fun. I want to go down there for a game at some point this summer when they've got a big one. But who sticks out to you in this little group?
I'll give a shout out to Cole McDonald, the Astros organization, his alma mater, New Hampton. And man, New Hampton leads the class with I want to say microscopic, but even that might not be right. 0.58 ERA. The Chickasaws just won a doubleheader over Decorah by a combined mark of 24-8. I mean, this team's not joking around. This team is ready to go. I mean, they went 5-0 on the week. It was a busy slate. You get through 5-0 weeks, you are on fire, and you're doing the right stuff. Gosh, I like this program where they're headed. Obviously, with the guys that they've hit to the professional ranks, I should say, they've done a lot of good job in the past as well. But man, New Hampton, they stuck out to me pretty quickly. And I'm an offense guy, but this is the defensive thing that got me.
Absolutely. Well, rounding out your little group here, OABCAG, they had a 14-2 win over Ridgeview last week, and they boast a class-leading 382 batting average. OABCAG kind of coming out of nowhere, but slowly making themselves a staple inside of our rankings. In Pleasantville, they dropped down to 15 last week. They're up 4 spots. Braylon Bingham, he's a freshman, and he's leading the class with a 655 batting average, and he's 10th in strikeouts thrown. So Pleasantville, a nice bounce-back week for the Trojans. Hey, let's get right into our top 10 though. And as you can see, not a ton of movement in our top 10. Osage drops 1 spot. Interstate 35 jumping into our top 10. They were 11 last week. Another good week for the Roadrunners, 5-1, really, really busy. They team high on base percentage. They lead the class at 502 and just took down Creston and lost a close one to Des Moines Christian. How about Mid Prairie though, Andrew? I think Mid Prairie has just been a team we haven't really discussed much. I remember when I wrote about them in the preseason pitching rankings that they had a lot of guys who didn't throw a lot of innings last year, but they were impressive. And so I was really excited to see what their innings would look like when they would get, more usage. And right now they got 3 pitchers with a sub 1.5 ERA, and they were 4-0 on the week. But who kind of sticks out to you 6 through 10 in Class 2A?
Well, I like, and I know that, I don't want anybody to get harp on me here. I'm going to go with the team that leads the class in runs scored. And not only that, but hits, RBIs, total bases, and by the way, one of just 3 teams to punch up over 110 strikeouts on the year, and of course that being Wes Marshall. 4-0 week. I mean, gosh, this program, it continually makes a push and a knock on the door to say, hey, top 5, top 3, we're here. And at some point, they're going to make their way up there. I think they are. And I as for the ranker, man, I trust him 100% on this, on where he's going with them. Honestly, if he were to put them in the top 5 as well, I would not be upset with that in any way, shape, or form. And I think that it's fitting. Obviously, this team is a top 10 team. It needs to be there. They've got a lot of things I like, and I like what they're doing. And for everybody in there, I mean, this is a program that we see continually turn out some big guys every year. I mean, some big guys. We talked about it last year. We talk about it this year, and we're going to continue to talk about overall. And I like Dawson Bear, I think is the name, Bear. I've been looking at that, making sure I get it right here. He's a guy that I think everyone should have a circle on right now. 24 total bases, but he does have 14 runs driven in, and he is on base over half the time he gets to the plate. So that's an important thing to note. That's the name of the game. How do you win? You get on base. This guy does that, and among many others. So yeah, I think West Marshall is the team to beat.
Absolutely. I had a ton of fun watching West Marshall in their game against Pleasantville. Andrew, I know we've talked a lot about wanting to expand our coverage from kind of a Class 4A, Class 3A heavy coverage. We're now doing a way better job at getting out to these smaller schools, and they've got some really good talent, and it's a ton of fun going and watching those small schools play baseball, and West Marshall is just a perfect example of that. Hey, let's get into the top 5, though, where we've got a ton of movement. Don't leave yet. We got some stuff to talk about. And at number 5, we've got Des Moines Christian. There was a case for them for number 1. I think there still is a case because they've got a big one coming up this week. Just the loss to Beckman Catholic, you kind of had to drop them a little bit. But Des Moines Christian, really good week, and they've got a 1-2 duo in Brady Andrews and Jack Isenhart, sophomore and freshman, I must add. That's a 1-2 duo that can compete with a lot in Class 2A. They're winning a lot of games, and like I said, a big week for them this week. Pleasantville, Van Meter, Ogden, and then looks like they got Grandview Christian again and Ankeny Christian in a tournament this weekend. Andrew, what do you like about Des Moines Christian so far?
Oh man, I love the fact, again, another top 10 team in total bases here at 111, I believe here. But I like it. I love the Andrews brothers here. That it's been kind of a trend here. We've had Andrews that did graduate, I believe, but Brady Andrews, the sophomore, Ty Andrews, the senior. I mean, both of those, they're like the Smash Brothers in that conference, and you could think about them that way in the class as well. Schmaltz, as you mentioned there, I like him with 16 total bases. And again, you look down the line, nobody on this hitting squad anyway has over 10 strikeouts offensively. So they're not getting there. In fact, there's just 1 or 2 that are 8 and above. And for those guys who are, they have 20 or more total bases, and one of them hasn't played as many games. So ultimately, yeah, this is a team that just finds the ball, finds their pitch. They make it. You mentioned good pitching. Yeah, this is an exciting team. Des Moines Christian, thank heavens you're around here, man, because that you're just make things that much better in a class that's already really ecstatic to watch. So yeah, that it's really fun to catch that, and I'm glad that they're in 2A because we're looking to catch them here soon.
Absolutely. I wanted to stick around for them when I was at Grandview Christian's little trio thing on Friday, but I wasn't able to stay. But I'm going to make sure I get down to a Des Moines Christian game at some point just because of the star power that they're supplying. Hey, let's go to number 4, though. The one spot that did not have movement inside our top 5, Esterville, Lincoln Central. They keep on chugging. Lost to Newman Catholic. 2 more wins. Preston Crease leading the way. He's slashing 41, leads them in innings pitched, and Esterville, Lincoln Central, they just look like another year for them contending in Class 2A, Andrew.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting because they're doing so without a huge offensive surge, right? Batting just 290 on the year, but they do have over 80 total bases. So they are making it happen, and they're relying on guys like Owen Larson and company to really make sure that the games stay within reach, and they make it happen, right? I mean, it's a team that's not going to blow you away, but as you mentioned, Kreese, Miller, and Owen Larson, all those guys have over 10 total bases individually on the season right now, then again, a lot of contributions here. Does it look flashy? No. Will it? I'm sure it will. But this is a program that has graced the state tournament as of late, and this is a team that has earned their way into back-to-back-to-back conference titles. So, can we see another one here this year? I think that this is a team that is capable of doing so. And I don't blame them. I do not blame them for being in the spot whatsoever. They've earned it for sure.
Absolutely. Well, this is where it gets interesting, Andrew, in Class 2A. Beckman Catholic, they drop a spot to number 3. Nice win over Des Moines Christian. Nice win over Grandview Christian. The split with Northeast probably hurt them a little bit this week. Obviously, no room to panic.
Yeah.
No, I mean it happens. You just kind of got to drop them a little bit. They lead the class in with a 469 slugging percentage, led by a guy named Luke Sigwarth. We've talked about him plenty in the preseason. All he does is just rack up the hits, and that's what he did when I saw him on Friday. He's batting 526, surprisingly, to nobody. Beckman Catholic, they just keep chugging away. Looks like this week they've got Makokata, and that might be it. It looks like just one doubleheader for them this week. So Beckman Catholic, I mean, nothing to worry about here, dropping a spot, don't you think?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, again, with what this program's doing, I mean, again, they're gonna make their way back. They're gonna. I think honestly, they could do a whole lot here. Again, what you mentioned is it's funny. They have both power and patience. Top 10 in walks on the year at 60 so far, 138 total bases, and you mentioned, yeah, the guys just show up for what this program is doing here. And again, they may not flash it by you here on some of the scales, but it truly is. This is fun. Sigworth has been a guy that I see as making a senior all-star series kind of roster, right? He is fun to watch. He is fun to catch. They have some guys who can literally just, I think, star as Superman in the next movie. They've got some guys who can lift off and are not afraid to touch the ground. I tell you about that. Man, that was a great clip of the Superman dive.
Yeah.
That was impressive, and yeah, again, made by upperclassmen. Of course, you mentioned Florence as well. They've got guys there, Schmidt, Recker. I mean, you look junior, senior, and you went. But what was the thing we said beforehand? Like, man, is this team going to, with what they lost last year, are they going to bounce back in the right way? And they have, I think, honestly. I mean, you've got over 7 guys in double digits for total bases. What more could you ask for? You're getting on, you're sending them in. You got 3 guys over 10 RBIs, so you're making it happen. You'll lose a few here and there, but this is a team I do not want to see come postseason if I'm on the other end.
Yeah, I believe that was Drew Thier in left field for Beckman Catholic. If
Here,
I'm saying that Thier, yeah. They were really solid defensively. Their shortstop was making some great plays. I'm going to be getting some clips out of him. Hopefully, the full game on YouTube. Hey, go check out our full games on YouTube. We've got those popping out here and there when I can get them done. But now Beckman Catholic, ton of fun watching them, and excited to see them compete down the road. Here we go, Andrew. 2-1. Let's see. Do we have a new number 1? We do. Underwood drops down a spot to number 2, and our ranker made sure to say this is really nothing to do with Underwood, just the resume. Haven't played a ton of games quite yet, and you got Van Meter ahead of him, who's played a gauntlet and has proven themselves. So Underwood is dropping for the time being. No room to panic though. I mean, this is just business at this point, I'd say. They've already got some good wins, and their top 2 in Van Fossen and Louette have yet to give up an earned run pitching on the mound. So they're showing off their muscles. Louette already has 2 homers and 7 at bats, I believe, for the Eagles. And I mean, we know what this team is capable of, Andrew.
oh yeah, and it's just easy to see that it matters who you play and how much you play as well, and that goes into it. But again, you can't dock a team too much. Underwood is doing what they need to do. I mean, they're keeping it strong. I mean, again, they're tied for four home runs total, which again leads ties from number one in the class. And it's funny, they're putting up 71 total bases. Now, yes, that's low comparatively, but if you go and look at everyone's average after 4 games or so, you know they do not come anywhere close to what Underwood has done already. So other teams have far more games under their belts. Underwood's doing what they need to. I get 43 RBIs through such little game action. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't ask for much more than that. They've walked 19 times. They've only struck out 13. This is a team and a program that's going fast and it's getting there quick. And yeah, so honestly, yeah, it's just a matter of who you played, and you didn't have much on paper. So yeah, you got to drop down just a bit, but in the end, when you're looking at 1 through 5, really you can interchange a lot of these guys all the way from 5 to 1.
And I like when you say that, Andrew. It matters who you play and how much you play. That only matters right now. At the end of the day, when the cards at the table, I mean, you're gonna get a chance to defend what your real ranking is at the end of the year, and that's what we
Yep.
do is so much fun because we get to kind of split the hairs right now and decide who's what. So, but that just leaves Van Meter at number one, 12-1
Yep.
already. They've been red hot. They're winners of 11 straight. They're playing up a class a lot of the time. Already wins over Carlisle, Creston, Gilbert. They've got a win over Newman Catholic. I mean, this team is putting up some insane stats through 13 games, Andrew. 84 innings pitched combined as a staff.
Yeah.
They've got a 1.25 ERA. And especially when you're adding the fact that they're playing teams bigger than them and they're beating them. I mean, Austin Baumover, Cole Moore, we're not even discussing Plagan Cool, and he's right there too. This team is Van Meter is very scary this year.
Yeah, and any team that they have faced over 500 yet in the season so far, they've won all of those games here. And again, the only loss that we get credited to back early on in the second game of the season against ADM, one of the tougher teams in Class 3A. So, they've beaten Pleasantville, Carlisle, Interstate 35, Ogden, Roland Story as well. They've really made it tough for other teams to look at. And I mean, you look at what they've done. You talk about defensively, man. Honestly, it's fun because no team has scored more than 4 runs against them this season. Now, sometimes that's enough to win you games, but for Van Meter, they have only scored less than 2 runs twice, and that was in the first 2 games against Newman
Yeah.
Catholic and ADM. So they have hit their run, their spree, and they continue to roll along. Pleasantville blanking them at 8-0. That means a lot. Pleasantville's a strong team. Carlisle 3A 8-2. That matters a whole lot. Creston they beat 4-2. So it matters. It does matter. Yeah, like you said, it matters who you play, and I guess for them it doesn't. Let me go back. It doesn't matter who Van Meter plays. They will win, and they're doing it right now. It's impressive to watch them.
Let me tell you, Andrew, you're looking ahead at their schedule, and I see a matchup on Tuesday. I see a matchup on Tuesday between two teams that we both really, really like in Class 2A. That could be a potential quarterfinal, semifinal. Heck,
Yes.
that could be a Class 2A title preview, if I do say so myself. That's going to be a matchup that we're going to be circling. We're going to be having our eyes
Yep.
on, and we're kind of, I don't know, we're kind of discussing, what we're doing that day.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on.
Well, it's interesting, Cade, because that was, if you go back a few years when Van Meter was in their run of 4 consecutive titles, one of those opponents that they played to win it all was the very own Des Moines Christian squad. So they've played them in every facet, in early in the postseason, late in the postseason, in the state title game, and it has been, it's been a fun matchup. You can't wait to see what the overall series notes are on that. But, you know, yeah, I mean, if anyone's circling the calendar, I mean, I got mine here. I'm starting to circle games as well. And yeah, the 4th, may the 4th be with us on June, and that's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you said, history, you could say, is on the line as I pull it up. Van Meter 22-6-1 against Des Moines Christian via Bound. So, but as we know, Des Moines Christian, a really good squad this year. And like you said, we got that one circled. But hey, Class 2A fans, we appreciate you for tuning in. Drop a comment. What do you agree, disagree? We love reading your guys' stuff, making sure we're touching all crowds across the state of Iowa. But hey, go check out the other episodes. Go check out High and Tight. We appreciate you for tuning in. Class 2A fans, we will catch you next time.